we had this conversation about organic, telling the truth, just get it out, which is not hard, but the truth is the fucking truth. To stand up against the contemporary fucking tsunami in the fucking wave. Not just in Japan, here, which, oh boy, do I know. And history will prove it out, you know, which is sadly that we've had to, you know, 7 years is a long time, and it's not that long. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I kind of got off of the topic in the last video, so this is part 2, but so I'm going back to this one, you know, principal who butt heads with me when I told him that the, you know, the oranges were poisoned, that the vegetables and everything's poisoned with cesium. And he got really mad that it's not poison, you know, the food is not poison, and how can you say that when the farmers spend their whole lives, you know, went on this whole rant on how these farmers, how they spend their lives and they're growing the food, you know, and they really, really respect the whole process. Like when they say, before they eat, they say itadakimasu, and that's like...
the whole world does except for us.
Yeah, and it's like kind of appreciating not only...
Rightfully so.
Yeah, it's everybody along the step, you know, that got that food to my plate. So we're appreciating that when you say itadakimasu.
Very honorable thing.
And so for me to say that that's poison, that we're feeding the children poison, he was really offended by that. And he told me, so there's a word called sodateru. Sodateru is like to raise something. So they use that when they talk about growing vegetables. They're raising the vegetables, okay? And so they're talking about, he started talking about, you know, that they're using that word, that they're raising these vegetables. And I said, well, I can really relate to you because I am a mother and I am raising my children, and I'm not gonna poison my children. And my children come to your schools 8 hours a day, and I leave them in your care, and everybody's trusting you to take care of their children. Okay, so I can really relate to these farmers. So how about me? What about me? What about the rest of these mothers? You know, we're raising our children, and we're not going to put poison, just like the farmers didn't want the cesium poisoning their
This went
vegetables.
on with her for a year and a half, and she had to flee. But I want to, she independently took these to credible labs, good labs, and paid with her own money to have this test. And the reason she only had certain things of it because it was the economics of it. How much it costs to have plutonium tested, but we don't need the others because we know one with the other. Yeah. So she paid with her own, and it's a very credible test.
I have a receipt right here just for, this one was just a, you know, a few of the tests. That's like 140 bucks, 14,000 yen, so that's 140 bucks-ish right there. So
but the test for plutonium, you could 10 times that by 10.
Oh, yeah.
And so, by the way, and so the Navy has it, everybody has it, you know, here's us grassrooters, and they're billions and they're fucking trillions. Hand out some more General Dynamics pork for more ways to poison you. And this is what blows my mind about inside the Navy, the USS Reagan sailors, and I get that. They can't talk, they'll lock their ass up. I get that. But here's the thing that kills me. These muck-mucks, these people that are in these industries, don't you realize this is the great equalizer? You know, I was in the bone marrow transplant at LDS, the #1 bone marrow transplant center on earth, Bimbo Peter. I mean, the elites of the elites come in there. I watch them come in there. I talk to the richest people in the world, fly in there in their Learjets, and I watch them die like flies so fast. It's the great, these very people that are covering up are fucking murdering themselves, let alone the unborn. You know, it's so outrageous. So Rachel's data is empirical. My data, the Pacific Ocean's empirical data. I have videos before and after of, I walked the whole coast of California, all of it, full of cancer. I have videos of the tide pools before 2011, 2012, 13, they're all dead. I did another big walk this morning. I videoed the shit. I've covered every square inch there. I mean, DE8 dead post Fukushima. No starfish, no nothing. The salmon. So you can serve, our kids can swim in there, everything's okay, you can eat the food. The Pacific Ocean's fine. Well, tell that to the Pacific salmon. Then why are the Pacific salmon all dying at sea? Why are the anchovies and sardines dying? Why are the tide pools freaking dying? But it's okay for us? What? No. And I want to say this. In Japan, cancer rates have skyrocketed. The longevity rate has plummeted, and Japan was famous for her very said reasons of living long, healthy, beautiful lives. That's being mowed down. Here, the cancer rates have skyrocketed. It's, 20, 30 years now. Oh, yeah, it'll be off the hook, but it's happening now. The birth defects in Japan are happening. The thyroid cancer, the leukemia, the death is happening now. USS Reagan sailors, I talked to so many of them. You wouldn't believe how many of them are already dead. These are people that weren't even there. They got on the ship later. So let alone feeding this to children?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so there's so that's why it was really important for me to steal the oranges from the trash. I don't think it's stealing if I'm taking it from the trash.
She would hide. She got video. She's hiding in her car.
Yeah.
She goes in there and she did it.
I did ask a couple of schools, can I have the trash? And I was told no. So then I decided, okay, well, if I just do it, and then they say sorry later. That's what the Japanese like to do, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, well, it's okay here. I can do that. But no, I was hiding out in this one school because they had told me no, because, not that they didn't want me to have it, but because they compost at their school. Oh. And then they grow vegetables, and then they serve those vegetables to the kids.
Okay.
And the kids do all of that, And so that scared me too.
More radiation poisoning.
Yeah. Okay, so they're going to compost the peelings and whatnot, and then they're going to use that in the soil, and the kids are going to be digging in that soil, and they're going to grow vegetables, and then they're going to eat that. And just that is the whole cycle in Japan anyways, isn't it? That's what's going on over and over and over. And
well, the whole
I think it's
world
getting
now.
Worse. It gets worse.
Well, here's the thing that's important with this. The American sheep, and I travel all over the world, so this conversation's happening in every way, everywhere but here. People here are so immature, and so right here, me. It has to be, show me gun, bullet comes out of a gun, hits person in the face, person's face explodes, head blown off, dead. They don't believe it, germ theory, so they say, well, there's no empirical data that radiation, what are you, Madam Curie? The atomic veterans, I have all the data right there. They were radiated 1/1000th what this, including my own father. They all died. So it's not going to give you cancer in the food. Yes, it is. And we have all the data. Yes, it is. And so, it's like germ theory. It's like, oh, you're telling me what? Doctors don't need to wash their hands. So it's the same philosophy. So that's the problem we have here. Oh, it never killed. No, what are you, crazy? It's killed millions. I mean, we can prove it because
this is living proof.
Well, not only that, the longevity in the United States, we have bypass surgery, we have open heart surgery, we have bone marrow transplant. By the way, I've had 2 of those said 3 post Fukushima. I had open heart surgery. I had, I was in a bone marrow transplant thing. I'm alive. Thank you to the doctors that saved me. In this incredible fight in the organic food. It's been a hell of a fight. But yeah, we have all that. Yet we're not living longer. We're living less. And why? Because our food is poison. We are dying of cancer and all the multiple other things that are happening to, just like your daughter. So talk more about the culture and the other moms and your friends.
Okay, yeah. So this is a mom. So she came into the fight. She was like me. We didn't care, She came into the fight because there were some of the school where her son went to in my town in Yokosuka. They every year during the school break, they clean out like the gutters, and it's kind of the old people do it. Sometimes they have the kids do it. In the junior highs, they have the kids doing it. In the elementary schools, they have the elderly come and they volunteer and they clean out the gutters, and then they pile it right there.
Real quick, I just want to tell this story about Billy Joel and the song Vienna. Billy Joel tells this beautifully. His dad is living in Vienna. And he goes out there, and Billy Joel says, oh, people are going to say, oh, they make the old people, the kids do it. There's an old lady street sweeping. By the way, the most honorable job in all of Vienna is the recycler and the street sweeper. There's an old lady, street sweeper, and he says, God, that's disgusting. He went off on his dad. His dad set him so straight. He says, are you out of your mind? These people are so useful, and this is so honorable. And this is the American thesis. Same in Japan. So that's where the United States needs to get that out of their fucking head. Oh, we just exploit a brown person, whatever, to wash our better. No, these are honorable jobs in the rest of the world. Cleaning the gutters, freaking cooking the food, raising the vegetables, making the beds. They are honorable positions. And that's what that song Vienna is, which is a beautiful piece. Go ahead.
Yeah, in the elementary schools, they make the kids, they clean the whole school. They sweep. I don't know if you've ever seen videos of them like down on their hands and knees, walking, you know, like dusting the floors and everything, which is great.
Same in Austria.
Until there's radioactive dust.
Right.
from the after they play recess and bring it all in. But anyways, okay, so I want to just go back to why she's so important. She came into this because at that school, the elderly had cleaned out the gutters, you know, a couple months after. Let's see, it was March. March was the explosion. April, May, June, they go on vacation. So during vacation time, they clean out the gutters and they pile. So 3 months after the three nuclear explosions, covering everywhere. And you can see my videos of where I was testing with my Geiger counter the schoolyards and then sending out the dirt samples. Her son and some other kids decide to play King of the Mountain on these mounds of dirt because, you know, the dirt just goes right back out into the field. And her son breaks out in this rash all over his body, and she can't figure out what's wrong with him. Nobody can figure out what's wrong with him. And somebody from my group, the No No Hoshino group, went and tested that pile of dirt, maybe like a couple weeks later or something. Turns out it is so highly radioactive because it's not only is it the dirt from the gutter, but they had put it all together. So it was like really high. And it made the news. This was the first school in Yokosuka. This was the first proof, you know, that was put out in the media, and it was on the news. It was in the newspaper, and then everybody realized, oh, Yokosuka did get hit, and which we were already saying.
You have the proof that it did.
Yeah, and so anyway, so that's where she came into the picture, and she was working her own thing. She wasn't really part of our group. My group didn't really like her because she was too boisterous. She was too forward. She had a blog and she was loud.
Oh, I'd love her. I want to be friends with her. I want to love her.
She's the female Japanese version of you. Let me just say.
Well, bring her on, man. Me and her need to freaking get married.
My friends told me not to associate with her. My group, because then it made.
Well, that's Japanese culture.
Yeah. Made me less credible because she was so loud and stuff, because Japanese women don't act
more like her. And that could lead me to this, because there was a lot of people like that in the early days. They're all coming to me. I get hundreds of emails from people like her, because I was the only one screaming around and raving, and they wanted a voice. They came to me, but then they threw the State Secrets Act out in 1212, and then all my emails went down.
Yeah, she got to be careful now. She can't be like how she was.
Oh no, they'll arrest them. They've arrested all kinds, and so I got cut off. They went after me in the U.S. and they cut it off, and so I got the email from the head of the Fukushima 50's mom 2 weeks before she's going to die. That's the kind of data I was getting until, you know, they threw down the gauntlet. You know, which, by the way, Trump's doing the same thing as Obama did. He's keeping the globalist nuclear cover-up a B. Please allow me to reintroduce myself. I mean, that's what it's all about. Go ahead.
Yeah, so she went with me. It was just her and I going in there. I got a video of us handing out the flyers in front of the sushi school this day that we got these oranges, trying to last minute, you know, just convince the parents, like, please, you know, plead with them, don't let your kids eat this. Because a lot of the schools said, okay, if the parents decide to write a letter and say that they don't want their kids to eat it, then we won't make them eat it. But if there's no letter...
Well, I'll tell you what, this piece that you just talked about, and this mound, and this kid with the rash, and this mama causing shit, and making the news of me right, is a very important freaking, that's incredible history that we don't know here. We know it now.
Yeah.
It's important.
So it's funny though, even she wouldn't go with me to that video I showed you.
To get the oranges?
Hiding, and I'm trying to get the oranges. Well, because I wanted to see, I wanted proof that they're composting also. I wanted to record that also.
Yeah.
And that's where also,
part of the cover-up.
This is another test that I did, because I thought, okay, composting gets dried out. So, you know, I had to dry out the peelings of the mikan, of the tangerines, the oranges, and this is regular mikan. This is the 11.9, right? That's that. So the peelings will be, that's the fruit part, the 11.9, that's in English. Picture, I don't know why they started sending me the samples with the pictures and everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of this. That's how you do it.
Yep, that's what they started sending me. At first, they weren't sending me all this stuff.
Good for them.
And they started.
You probably had
me.
somebody that believed in you once they started. Somebody inside the lab probably saw those readings and they're like, they probably were like, whoa. You probably convinced them.
Yeah, because they weren't giving me this page.
Well, it's
they
obvious.
They used to only give me this page.
They probably
in
didn't
Japanese.
know. They didn't probably know, and you educated them.
Yeah, but I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
no doubt in my mind.
Yep, and so this is the Mikan no Kawa. So this is the peelings that they're composting. So remember, it was 11.9 becquerels.
Oh.
Well, the peeling is 76.4 becquerels.
Oh. And by the way, they're even higher than that today than they were then.
Yeah. So.
PB's last single, by the way.
Yeah.
He's the last guy there. So.
Yeah, here's what I would send with my sample. I don't know, just a little interesting thing here,
Sure.
I guess. So this I want to show because I tested other things that didn't have these high readings, and I want you to see it. Also, things that I wanted to test. And here's something interesting, tuna from Costco in Yokohama. It was from America, but this was in 2012. This was after the oranges. Wait, can I go? No, that's my address. Hold on, there's no date here. Well, you'll see on the testing samples. Oh yeah, dates here. So this is from June.
Right when I got leukemia, 10 and 11 on the rise.
July.
And again, we know for a fact now because the data's coming
June 16th. This is 2012. 2012. This rice is from Niigata from 2011. So, yeah. This is my receipt. Sorry, that's my receipt. Okay, so here's the Kirkland albacore. Okay, nothing detected. So I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, but now let's get real about the tuna.
Yeah, it was
We
canned.
call them the silver streak. We still don't know their migration. The fastest creature on Earth. So God only knows where it came from.
Yeah,
we still to this day don't know their freaking migration pattern.
This was July 2012. I'd be interested in testing it again because it bioaccumulates. And also when I got back over here, I heard about every single sample of tuna that was taken off of this Pacific Ocean.
Oh, that asshole from Stony Brook. Boy, did I have a fight with him right here. I thought we were going to go to blows. That piece of shit. You know what he told me? He says, oh, that's good. This is when I'm full of cancer. And Greenpeace is right there. And I'm fine with Greenpeace. They told me not to raise my voice. And I said, I remember when you punks used to write. And I had a sentinel lining in my jugular vein. And they actually pushed me. And he told me that it was good because it was a tracer study. And now they could understand some of the migration pattern of the tuna. I said, so you're telling me that's good? Pro-nuclear piece of shit. And the head of Greenpeace, that trustless people. Oh. Me and him got into it like you would right there on the pier. When I'm full of cancer, I'm on my own down here doing this work, So go ahead.
Yeah, I like how they say that it's, that it's such a small amount that it's not going to do any immediate
There's no such
harm.
thing as low levels. And by the way, it ain't low. You saw her data. It's just as high here, if not higher. Watch, they crash RedNet. You can go right to RedNet dishes right here in San Diego. Look at it. See how high it is.
So these are some apples that I got from one of the schools that they were doing this, teaching the kids how to peel apples
and they were
use a knife, and they were fine. Yeah. Okay. Where were these from? They're from. There's the pictures covering it here. I wrote it down over here.
But the oranges weren't fine, and the dirt wasn't fine.
Yep. So this is kind of also. I think this is good to show because I'm not just like, saying,
You're not cherry picking data, which they do. That's what they do.
This is not the apples. I'm sorry. This was the rainwater. This was rainwater, not the apples. This was rainwater from Otsu, my house area. That's the Japanese.
But we've seen the data from your soil at your house, which was off the hook.
This was the apple. This is the apple here. So that also was fine.
Okay.
So, yeah, there it is in English. The apple. Nothing was detected. So you can see this lab is also, when it doesn't show up, it doesn't show up.
Right, so it's not cooked books like they do.
Right.
Liars figure. I mean, figures don't lie, liars figure.
Yeah. And then rice also. There was a problem.
I remember this is done 2012. This is selective, freaking none here and there, but the oranges are the school, and then she has the dirt samples, all those, and you go to the other videos and see those.
Yeah, I've got videos showing all of this stuff. We had a scintillator in our community, and so I at a cafe. It was free. One of the guys that worked in the public office, he got a budget, and he decided to use his budget. You know, he wanted to be elected, you know, for whatever office. I don't know. I got.
Well, the one governor, the one prefecture, and never ran for office before. He ran on nothing but an anti-nuclear platform, and he won easily. Now you know how B got reelected.
No.
Under special election. Under the rules of special election, Yalta by the Sea, Japan is the 51st state. So you have to have permission from the United States to call a special election. They can only call a special election in a time of war. So Trump, they meet in the thing, and first thing they do is beat the North Korea drums. This will tie into this bullshit summit, which is a scum. Now, just remember, I want you to remember the scumbag in North Korea poisoned his own brother with gas in the airport a year ago, executed his own uncle, executed 146 people in 1 week at gunpoint. This is a mass murder and evil scumbag dictator, and somehow those guys, Putin kills people left and right, think whatever, and somehow we like those guys out. We're going to meet with them, we're going to play ball with those scumbags. So they called special election, and they beat the shit out of the North Korea's going to use a nuke on Japan. North Korea's going to, and Abiy just propagated, because he would have lost. So they called special election, and Trump gave him the permission. That's what this whole B fucking thing is. And he wins under special election. That was people don't get that part of the scam with the B and Trump and their bromance. That's what it's all about. That's what this whole thing's about. This whole let's make a deal. Oh, we're going to quit our nuclear weapons testing in North Korea when the mountain blew. You know about the mountain blowing up?
No.
So they're testing nuclear weapons in North Korea. The whole mountain collapsed, killing 200 workers in there, crushed them, contaminated the whole fucking place. That's why they're fucking playing ball now, because the whole thing turned into a failure. It's a great, toxic, fucking incredible nightmare. That fucking dirtbag fucked himself, and a bee's just, I mean, that dirtbag. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that, that's what I wanted to show you with that data, and I've got more stuff to talk about, but I want to just end this video probably with this. I got my hands on this. Somebody actually passed it to me from one of the schools, and they just kind of snuck it to me. They were getting rid of all of these. They printed these out for all the kids, and not every school got them. Yes, post Fukushima. Okay. Just like right after. I don't know if there's a date on this. I want to say. Let's see. October in the year 23. Gosh, I hate the Japanese year. I'll have to get back to you on that. 23 might have been 2012. Because they use a different year system. They go off of their what's it called, prince. The birthday of their ruler.
It's the emperor's family's birthday, which is still there. By the way, the emperor. By the way, the emperor was in Fukushima 2 days ago, meeting with the victims of all the royal family. By the way, who's Yoko Ono's cousin, which the oldest monarchy on earth, the Chrysanthemum Empire. You know, you good, dumb, loyal subjects. I'm not talking about the Japanese. I'm talking about us, good, dumb, loyal subjects. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So this was supposed to be given to each child, and it has all kinds of good information to teach about radiation, and you know, there's different types of, we can get radiation from different places, you know, and we use radiation for so many good things like X-rays and CT scans.
That's what Sanjay Gupta played that scam when he came back. He had it out. Oh, my best friend died of Hiroshima, but I found out radiation's good. It saves, even though they all died of leukemia.
And it's supposed to educate on, you know, a lot of this is you know, okay, teaching the different types of rays and where we get radiation from. And so really, it's very common. And you know, TV, it's in bananas. It's in potatoes.
Yeah.
It's in potatoes. Look at that.
What are you fearmongers are doing?
Yeah.
By the way, I want people to understand that I'm a 1%er. I got cancer in the fall of 2011, a hardcore leukemia, which is almost unsurvivable. You know, and Fukushima, the whole nuclear industry caused it, and you know, it's been a hell of a fight. But I'm alive, and my daughter says you're the biggest walking miracle. My fight and me being aware and fighting that's if that doesn't teach you something, does that not teach you people? I am alive. Go ahead.
So yeah, so it does have a lot of, you know, the common, you know, basic information, different Geiger counters, you know,
Madam Curie,
people, you know. And
Pierre Curie, that's him right there.
they're teaching the kids all this, or the plan was they were going to, give this to every kid. They were going to do a class. They were going to teach everybody and kind of like get their minds. I think, it makes it easier for them to downplay things, to control the culture, control them.
It was one of their first tools that they were going to try, and then they decided
not to hand these out.
Sure, why they decided not to. The last page.
Yep. So, they go all through all.
It's the last page why they decided not to, I think. If I remember looking through. There it is.
Yep. Here it is. And here's the, how the reactor has all these monitoring systems and everything's in place and it's good. And look at, the clean oceans and they're testing the water. This is why they pulled them and decided not to give them out. Because what are they saying? Put your mask on. Do not drink the water. Do not eat the food. They pulled these. They did not hand these out to anybody. Somebody snuck this.
No, they took the same thing that Obama and Hillary and Kissinger and freaking all of them, the whole United States, Russia, which I call the nuclear vagina, the nuclear triangle. That whole thing is we're just going to shut everybody up, and anybody that talks about it, we're going to lock up, and we're just going to play stupid, and we're going to classify the word Fukushima. You heard any politician, including Senator Wyden, went to Fukushima 5 times. He was head of the committee. I talked to him multiple times. I talked to Barbara Boxer many times. I talked to Mike Lee. It's all on YouTube. I've asked multiple the files. So many of these guys. What about white? They won't even mention the fucking word. So that's how they decided to handle it. They decided to handle it. No, we're just gonna just like a little kid. Let's pretend it never happened, kids. Don't just mention the word all the time in history. Meanwhile, the Pacific Ocean dies, and every dumb sheep go along. So we'll end it here.
Yeah.
And so it's good. We'll keep at this, and we'll get this tale told, and it's not about how many people are watching it. It's who's watching. We're going to record history. This is the greatest crime, the greatest event, the greatest cover-up in human history. And if it doesn't cause cancer, fuck, it's murdered so many people already right here in San Diego. Cancer. Tell me, we don't count dead tide pools. We don't count dead humans in bone marrow transplant centers. Oh, I do. I've been there, literally. We count salmon. Don't you think that'd be a major story? The Pacific Ocean dies, so the salmon can't live in the ocean. The starfish can't live in the ocean. The anchovies and sardines can't live in the ocean. The whales are in pre-vol. Well documented. Well documented. This is all crashed. But you people are just fine in the ocean. I've never seen PB so crashed. Have you ever seen it?
I've never seen it like this.
In my life. And it's early.
Well, probably down more by the lake.
Yeah, of course, there, but not here.
Yeah.
Wow. Tourism economy. Don't rock the boat, baby. Stand tuned.